Every phonics program you might be using will have its own flavor, but there are a few core practices that you often see across programs. We have identified 8 such practices that, in our view, every teacher of early reading should be familiar with. Sound drill, explicate the targeted pattern, word building, sorting by sound, sorting by spelling, written spelling, spelling aloud, and word reading.
We are going to demonstrate these practices. I will play the teacher.
And I will play a student.
And I will play the skeptic. I'll ask lots of questions along the way to make sure the teacher and student are providing us with the best information and keeping it as practical as possible. Remember, we are just actors playing these roles. I'm not really a harsh critic of everything I hear, but I am playing this exaggerated role so we can remind everyone that it is important to always critically evaluate what scientific research offers for classroom practice.
Let's pretend we are working with an individual or a small group of students on the long A sound spelled 2 different ways, AI and A consonant E.
In front of me, I have a set of letter tiles we're going to use for the lesson. The teacher has asked me to lay them out so that letters that usually make a consonant sound are on one side and letters associated with vowel sounds are on the other side. Using these tiles and a few pre-selected words, the teacher and I can engage in several different practices that will help me solidify my knowledge of sounds, spelling patterns, and words.
For instance, we could start the lesson with a quick review of the sounds associated with each letter. I'm going to point to a letter, and I want you to tell me the sound or sounds it usually makes as quickly as you can.
N, S, G.
What other sound does it make?
J, T, K, O, A.
What other sound does it make?
A, I.
What other sound can it make?
I, E,
Or
E.
Great.
This is a good way for me to review and practice what I know about letter-sound associations. It can also cue the teacher in if there's something I need help with before I can move on with the other practices we're demonstrating.
Hold on, are you only demonstrating practices that work in one-on-one or in small group settings? Or can this be done as a whole class?
You can do it either way. We are using letter tiles and only one student in our demo, but if you were doing a whole class lesson, you could have the materials organized so that partners or groups of students have letter tiles or cards at their tables to share. Or you could project the tiles on your smartboard and have volunteers come to the front and help you demonstrate for the class. Another important aspect of explicit phonics instruction is making the sound or pattern you are studying very clear to the student so they don't have to guess what they are learning. In today's lesson, we are going to be working with words that have the long A sound. Long A sounds like this, A. Can you say that?
A.
All right, so we're going to see some words where the A sound is spelled like this, A-I, as in the word main. Can you say main?
Main.
Good. We're also going to see some words where long A is spelled like this, A consonant magic E, as in the word game. Can you say game?
Game.
Good. Remember, if a word has a vowel, a consonant, and then a magic E, that magic E is going to make the vowel have the long sound. So today, we're going to be building some words that use the long A sound spelled 2 ways, A consonant E and AI. Now let's build some words.
Now that I know what I'm learning, let's move on to word building. This is an interactive, engaging way to practice manipulating letters and sounds to form words. To plan for this part of the lesson, the teacher would have already developed a list of words that contain the targeted patterns. In this case, long A words spelled AI and with the A consonant E.
Let me stop you again. Of all the different patterns and sounds in the English writing system, why are you choosing to focus on these patterns? There must be some kind of logic to your choice, right?
Definitely. I didn't just randomly choose these patterns. I am being systematic. Schools need to use a clear sequence in their phonics program. Typically, these are sequenced so that sufficient time is given to all the major spelling patterns in the language, starting with a few consonants and short vowels in easy words, then progressing through long vowels and consonant digraphs and blends, and moving on to other vowel teams in more challenging words.
To that point, in this demo, let's assume that we're in a place in our scope and sequence where we've already learned about the magic E spelling for long A words, and now we're learning to read and spell additional graphemes for that same sound, including AI.
You have these letters in front of you that we just reviewed. Think about the sounds these letters make and the sounds you hear in the words I give you and try to build these words. Ready?
Ready.
First, let's build the word main. We already saw this one earlier. The girl was walking down the main street in town. Main. If the student needs a little more support, I might tell them, you need 4 letters to make this word. Or, if the spelling pattern is really new to the student, I might say, the A sound in this word is spelled with the letters AI.
Ain. Main.
Okay, tell me the 3 sounds you hear in this word.
Ain.
Good. Check your spelling against mine. Now touch the letters with me as we say the sounds so we can map the sounds to the letters we just used.
Ain.
Good. Now let's turn the word main into gain. You can gain a lot of money if you cut grass for your neighbors on the weekends. Gain.
What could you do if your student needs more support? Not everyone will be able to build that word like your demo student.
Well, we chose the sequence of words carefully so the words build on each other. So in this case, I could say, gain is really similar to main. It is only different by 1 sound. Think about the sound that is different in gain compared to main. You only need to change 1 letter to change main to gain.
They both have ain, so I leave that part and change the beginning.
That's right. G-ain and m-ain both end in ain. Go ahead and switch those out. Okay, let's touch the letters and say the sounds in the word. Ain. Good. If the student needs more support, you can help them break the word apart into its 3 phonemes. Or they might be able to do it on their own while using the letter tiles to spell it.
I want to see an example where the student does not spell the word correctly. For example, what if they spell game using the AI diagraph? What would you say in that case?
Now let's turn gain into game. We are going to play a game. Think about the sounds in the word game.
Aim. Game.
In a case like this, the teacher can be clear and specific in their feedback. You have the right sounds. Great work with those sounds. Remember I told you we would have 2 different ways of spelling the long A sound in this lesson? This word uses a different spelling for A. Game does not use the AI spelling. Any ideas what the other spelling could be?
Oh, magic E.
Yes, let's try that. How would you spell game with A consonant magic E? Okay, check it with mine. Great. We would then build more. For example, we might continue with same, then safe, then clear the tiles and start over with rain, pain, tail, and so forth.
After we've worked through several examples like this, we can move on to a sound sorting activity to practice the targeted patterns some more. In a sound sort, the teacher will say the word and ask the child to categorize it based on the presence or absence of a sound, without showing the written word. Mentally playing with the sounds of the word is really important here.
I have a list of words here. Some are words we just built, and I've added a few more just to keep you on your toes. Some of the words have the long A sound in them, like the word main. If you hear the long A sound in the word, we're going to put them in this column over here. Other words do not have the long A sound in them. For example, they might have the short A sound, like in the word map. Those words will go over here on this side. Just to review, what kind of words will go here?
A sounds.
Good, and what kind of words will go here?
Ah sounds.
Great. The first word is safe. Think about the sound you hear in that word. Which side should safe go on?
Safe. Here. A.
That's right. Here's the word safe. Put it in the side you just told me. Good. What about the word game?
Aim. It has the A sound, so it goes here.
Were you correct?
I am.
Okay. Where would you put the word chat? Chat.
Here, with map.
Great. It'll go right over there.
After we've done this for a few words, maybe 10 or so, we can move on to a spelling sort.
Let's do another sort, but this time all of the words will have the long A sound, and we're going to think about how the words are spelled. So remember, we heard long A sound spelled AI, as in the word rain, right? So if you hear a word and it's spelled AI, you're going to place the word over here. We also learned that the long A sound can be spelled A consonant E. If you hear that word and you think it's spelled that way, you're going to place the word card over here.
But you aren't going to show them the card, right?
That's right. That would be too easy. I want the student to mentally play with the sounds and letters of the word, to just hear the word and try to picture it in their head, thinking back on the words we saw in the lesson, and see if they can remember how it's spelled. Then after they tell me which column they think it goes, I will show them and they can check to see if they were right. Okay, the first word is safe. We wear helmets to keep our heads safe. How do you think the long A sound is spelled in that word? Check it. Are you right?
I am.
Great, it's spelled with the A consonant E. Good. The next word is game. Game. How did we spell that word?
I think it was AI.
Aha! What will you do when they don't know where it goes?
Again, just be specific and efficient with your feedback. Don't turn it into a guessing game. Help the kid quickly notice and address the mistake. Are you right?
Oh, no. It goes on the other side. It has an A consonant E.
Right. Game is spelled G-A-M-E. Let's put that one back in the stack and we'll do it again in a minute.
After doing a few of these, what's the next practice?
Then we could have the student practice spelling the words. We can do this two ways. To practice writing the words, we can call out a word and the student can write it using a whiteboard or scratch paper. Then we show them the word and let them compare their spelling and give feedback as needed.
That sounds pretty straightforward. What's the second way?
Because we really do want to help students build mental memories of words, it's also good to have them practice spelling the word aloud without writing it. Either way, you want to give the student clear feedback and additional practice for any words they misspell.
After all that, another useful thing to do is have the child practice reading the words they just learned.
If you have a decodable text that includes the targeted words, that would be really useful. But even if you don't, you can still have the student intentionally practice the targeted pattern by flashing through the word cards you used in the lesson. Throw in a few additional words that use the same pattern and that weren't in the lesson, just to make sure the student is transferring their orthographic knowledge to additional words. Now let's read through this deck of words as quickly as we can to practice all the words we learned today. I've also included some review words from previous lessons and some new words that use the long A patterns we practiced today.
Why do you keep saying words like flash and quickly as we can when describing the child's reading? Aren't you rushing them and creating stress?
Well, you make a good point. I definitely don't want to create stress. But keep in mind that word reading does eventually have to be automatic, not just accurate. So we do want to know if they can read the words quickly. If the student can strategically and effortfully decode the words in our list, but can't read them quickly without having to stop and think about them, they probably need more practice with this pattern.
Game, safe, main, gate, same, pain, tail, take, nail, name, raid, rake, gain.
Whew! That was a lot. Can you recap with 3 big ideas that everyone can remember?
Sure. Be intentional and explicit about the sounds and spellings you are teaching.
Give specific feedback when students make mistakes.
And provide lots and lots of practice with each pattern.